All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash. That belongs to the apostles of GMS, and sincere Shalom to the elect and the brothers out there pushing this truth in sincerity. And what we have here is yet again another clip of what we've been saying for years. And apparently, one of the leaders, Rashid Turner, has left this organization about learning the truth about what this organization is really about. And the messed up part is it takes for the media to tell these things before people start deciding to think for themselves all of a sudden. And we've been saying this for years, but we always got the backlash of everything. But now when these people say it, people got nothing to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip.
Some explosive claims coming from a founder of the Black Lives Matter chapter in St. Paul, Minnesota. In newly released video, Rashad Turner says he, quote, learned the ugly truth, end quote, about the organization.
I believe the organization stood for exactly what the name implies. Black lives do matter. However, after a year on the inside, I learned they had little concern for rebuilding black families, and they cared even less about improving the quality of education for students in Minneapolis.
Charlie Hurt, what burst onto the scene for that former supporter of Black Lives Matter, the organization, to have such an about-face about it?
Well, I think that he probably represents a lot of people who got sucked into the messaging of the organization that believes that, yes, we don't want bad things happening to black suspects in police custody. We don't, there was like a 99% support for doing anything that made policing safer for everybody involved. But these people that were involved in BLM managed to twist it around and politicize it to a degree that I don't think anybody expected. And it's all very, very simple. If you cared about black lives, why would you defund the police? If you cared about black lives, why would you take away security in black neighborhoods? If you cared about black lives, what would you do? You would try to do everything you could to give parents the ability to and options to send their kids to good schools that are safe and made safe by good police officers. But that's not what this organization did. They politicized it. They did everything they could, we saw it all summer long. And it began to dawn, I think, on a lot of people that, wow, maybe their top priority isn't black lives here.
You know what's so interesting? So Jason Chaffetz told me last hour, Emily, some of what Charlie is saying is so true when it comes to the resources that should have been going and the advocacy from BLM, the organization, that should have been going to areas where black families live, particularly in the cities where the rioting was happening and black-owned businesses were being torn down in the process. But that's not what is happening now.
No, not at all. And I think from what we understand now, not only are the communities not receiving any type of support or funding from this organization, but neither are their local chapters. Mm-hmm. So there's actually this discernible tracing being cut off, that it was all somehow going to some central head. And obviously we'll learn more, I think, as investigations play out and more questions are asked. I also thought what was so disappointing to hear, so shocking, frankly, to hear, for example, Tamir Rice's mother said, they are hustling Black death, she said. They don't speak for me. And she said, they won't even talk to us. And it blew my mind that there was such a departure from the birth of the movement that this organization was supposed to represent, that they wouldn't even communicate with the mothers and fathers of people who had lost their lives at the hands of an issue that this, again, organization was supposed to represent.
Yeah, hustling Black deaths, but they happen every day on streets of America, not at the hands of cops. So those don't even get talked about by this group and many others, Kaylee.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that these people will always ignore when we bring it up. I'm not talking about these people as that the reporters are talking about. I'm talking about just the average Jake on the street, when we even go out and do the work, Jake will always ignore that part. We bring up that what about the rest of the Jake that's over here killing each other? News will pop up on it, but no one says anything. No one cares. It's just another nigga shooting another nigga. Who cares? That's what the ideology of Jake. But nah, don't let a cop shoot us. We get angry. For what? You killed more of each other than the police kill you. If anything, y'all should be angry at yourselves. But this is the mindset of America, how they do things, especially our people. This is why we end up. This is how we end up in one of the curses, anyways. See, Jake really has a one-track mind of anything when it comes to, as they like to say, social justice is what they call it, and it's just like, how do these people think the way they do? But that's because they don't have moral standards. They don't have any form of logic, really. A lot of people is just like a dog. They one track.
They don't get talked about. We say their names here on the show, Socoria Turner, Legend Talaferro, and they don't get talked about, and they should be talked about because overwhelmingly we're seeing crime increase in the cities. We cover it here every day, and children losing their lives waiting in a McDonald's tragically. And to your point about Tamir Rice's mom, she went on to say, as you noted, she tried to contact the head of BLM multiple times. She said that she wanted Patrice Cullors to help her reopen the investigation into her son, who was just 12 years old when he died. And the conversation fell off. And you had another mom say that the local branch raised $5,000 for her son's funeral, and she never saw a dime of it, she says. And they use the names, but they don't help the families.
So, I would, gosh, I'd love to talk with these three co-founders from the beginning, and I realized Patrice Cullors just quit.
Yes.
They're investigating, how she came about to pay for all of her $1 million in homes. And if she earned it, great, but they just want to know, because she didn't necessarily have a salary from BLM, the org. But, I'd love to ask those three women, were you equipped to handle the response that you got? Because sometimes, you start something and you just have no idea how big it's going to become. But there's a difference, and Tommy, I come to you on this. There's a difference between the movement of BLM and the organization.
Well, absolutely. When BLM started, I do believe that their intentions were pure. I do believe that they wanted to draw attention to what they saw as systemic racism and police brutality, which is a noble goal. And if that's what your organization wants to do and that's the activism you want to create, you have every right to do that. But then I think something very ugly happened. The money, the power, the fame, the pop culture notoriety got to the heads of these organizations, and they started seeing dollar signs where they used to see true activism. And then I believe what we've seen in the last couple of years, especially the last couple of elections, is you've seen the Democratic Party and the leaders of the Black Lives Matter organization come together in some kind of an unspoken bond, an unspoken pact. We'll raise you up on a pedestal, you will make money, we will make money, we'll work together, we'll make sure that we're exploiting people, exploiting their emotions, and exploiting what the true cause used to be to get everyone to flock in, to vote how we want them to vote, to donate where we want them to donate. And I still don't know, and I've posed this question several times, I'm not sure anyone really has an answer. When someone donates to Black Lives Matter, the organization, where does that money go?
Where does the money go?
And a year and a half later, and a year after George Floyd's death, what has BLM done to improve the lives in Black communities and any communities for that matter? What accomplishments can they tout? They've raised a lot of money. They've had a great presence. They've been bowed down to, put on this untouchable pedestal. And what have they really done for anybody besides themselves, besides political gain and a whole lot of money in somebody's pocket?
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
And see, see those list of things that she even mentioned of how they got in. See, these were all started by rats anyway, so this was already planned from the start. But she's right. What is these three bastards done for the community? Now, if we're going to be realistic, there's no such thing as the Black community, because the Black community never existed. The Black community is all for yourself. What I mean by that is you can only trust yourself. in the so-called black community. That money was not going to go to any of them. It wasn't going to go to any of them. Especially since, for the simple fact that they always wanted to say all these things and try to pump people up to come to these rallies. And guess what? Jake is still killing each other in these rallies. They come to rally against, supposedly, the white man and his police to get notoriety to let them know that they matter. They want to be loved by their oppressor. Meanwhile, somehow, a fight breaks out in the middle of these crowds. How? This is 2 Peter 2:19. It says, while they promised them liberty, meaning you can come to these rallies, they're gonna pump them up, talk about how they need to stop the killings and all that, and how we gonna fix the black community. That's all the stuff that makes these people feel like they could be free in this society. It says they themselves are servants of corruption. So these so-called 3 black women, so-called, are puppets under the rats. They puppets. They just servants of corruption. They're serving the corrupted. Because Esau is nothing but corruption. It says, for of whom is a man overcome, of the same as he bought in bondage. So no matter what these people, especially these people that's beneath these leaders, they know nothing. Because when you look back on it, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and several of your leaders, Jesse Jackson, these people, the people under these people, they know nothing. They just follow the crowd. Especially if these leaders got a good speech going, they show that they show that ferocity, that they have it in their voice, that they do care while being angered, pretending to be angered, to show to rally the same the spirits of these uneased people that's tired of being oppressed, to come into this to pretty much get them rallied up. And they don't even know why they're getting rallied up. Because these be the same people that says, oh, well, I just want to make it in America. I want to do this and that. I want to live to this amount of age before I die. They do all the wicked things they want to do. So they're going to defend themselves to live in this society so they can live better. And it doesn't work that way. It has never worked that way. This is what goes on now. It's technically what's been going back in slavery. This is not new. We've been getting gunned down since we've been brought here. So these people don't understand that slavery never ended. This is just another form of slavery. This is Habakkuk 2:18. It says, what profiteth the graven image, that the maker thereof have graven it, the molten image, and a teacher of lies, that the marker of his work trusteth therein, to make dumb idols? And that's exactly what these people follow as dumb idols. Idols that don't profit you nothing. But it's profiting these people. It's profiting these leaders that you followers want to go on to, because you think it's some holier than thou way of finding a way to end all the oppression that we have here. No, the oppression only ends when the Lord comes back and destroys this place. We've been telling you people for the longest time, you will never be loved in this society. Just like we've been telling you people that BLM has always been a joke. This guy that left, he said he left I think he's just now leaving, but he said he's been in after a year being in here of this movement, that he's learning the truth that this movement ain't what it says it is. And this movement has been going on how long? I would say 2015, 20 I think maybe 2013, some maybe even a little earlier than that. I didn't really care enough when they did come out, because the movement was stupid anyways. But this movie has been out for quite a bit of time, and nothing has changed. You come to riot, y'all fight each other, then the police has to come out and rubber bullet y'all butts, or had to push y'all back, had to spray mace y'all, and y'all gotten nowhere besides wrecking a few other buildings, which, mind you, had Jake inside of them, working in them. But I thought Black Lives Matter was supposed to be about helping black people, but yet y'all are breaking into these jobs, hurting black people that has to work there. They show you the hypocrisy of this movement, that it never made sense. It was just a lie, a front. It looked good to other people. They wanted to join in like a bunch of monkeys. Monkey see, monkey do. It's the same way in school. A fight breaks out. Oh, everybody's trying to fight. Everybody gathering up just to watch it. Why? What good does it do you? You're just sitting there fighting for what? Not even a minute, and then the teachers come and y'all all flock. Y'all all just scatter like roaches. Goes to show you that this is nothing new. And I'm going to be surprised, because BLM's going to, these leaders are going to get called out. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make the next move of making up even more money and then saying, here, we're going to give it to the community. They're going to make all these sayings, and they might even try to actually give a couple people a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. But what about the rest of the money? What is all that going to? That's going to be a front. And if they do give off the money, they're probably going to disappear, and another movement going to come up, just like it always does. So these people worship unto dumb idols. And these are the dumb idols that these people follow. And guess what? Because they follow these dumb idols, that makes them dumb. But that's why we're on the other side, to tell these people where they're going off at. Because we're only out here to wake up the elect out of them. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the electors among them. But if they're the elect, they're going to come out of that madness anyways. So, either way, Lord, one of this was edifying. And with that, shalom.